Everybody, welcome to Straight to the Point, completely off topic with your host, Kyle Dunbar. And today I have an Ink Master contestant, Creepy Jason, with us, keeping me relevant. Once again, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I say I'm doing this to help keep me relevant.
Shit, dude, you just got off of the latest season.
Yeah, but that
You're
shit
as
fades
relevant as
fast.
they get. It
Yeah,
fades
yeah, yeah.
fast.
I mean, it can't. It does. It's like you gotta stay on top of it, man. Otherwise, it fucking goes away.
You've already experienced this?
Yeah, because I was on in 2019, and you could definitely see diminishing returns on your social media if you're not grinding it, man. You got to keep yourself in the spotlight if that's where you want to stay. It's active. You have to keep doing it.
Yes. It's almost unfortunate.
It really
Like,
is, man. Like I miss the days of tattooing when like the best thing you could hope for was getting in a tattoo magazine and you didn't have to be a persona.
have you been tattooing that long?
17 years, almost 18 years now.
Oh, yes. Then you remember the tattoo mags and how
Yeah,
important they
yeah,
once were?
yeah. I mean, I remember my first time seeing one of my tattoos in them. I still have it framed up in my shop because it was a fucking huge deal.
You were the biggest person in your town that week, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, at least in the shop, they were all jealous shit. Fuck them.
Did you put a gold? What kind of frame did it go in?
Oh, it went like in a shadow box, so I get like the picture and the cover together, the sketch for the tattoo is in there, so it's fucking awesome.
Love it. I love it. I do. Because yeah, man, that's a part of our history, ain't it? I mean, if
It,
we've been grinding it this long.
yeah, it seems like ancient history at this point, and it wasn't even that long ago.
Creepy Jason, let me do a few things. We want to get into a lot of, and I understand you obviously you were there, so you have a lot of the behind the scenes and a lot of knowledge that a lot of us don't about season 14.
Oh yeah,
But and I know there's a lot. Boy, there's so much to unpack. I can't wait to get to it. But let's do a couple of things first, if you don't mind. Let's go over kind of where you're at now, because I understand you're working on some role playing games, right? Like the Magic Gathering kind of thing, or
essentially, yeah, it's like a tabletop RPG. This is like my big side project outside of tattooing that I can express my creativity in. You do one
Mhm.
tattoo for one person, that's it. But you do a board game, people play that after I die. They'll be playing that for generations.
I follow. That's is this where can we follow that progress at?
Right now, you can just follow it on the Instagram, which is dystopian_nights. And then there's like a link to it on my website, creepyjason.com. It'll be
Creepyjason.com. You got that
creepyjason.com.
website?
Easy to remember, man. Yep, creepyjason.com.
Nice, nice. You lucky too, man. I wanted anybody smart. Anytime this the Ink Master comes out, they should just buy up all those domains. Really.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what's the point of doing it if you're not going to brand? No, it's like you got to market that shit. It's so stressful. It's like if you're not going to take advantage of being on television to brand yourself, then you're wasting your fucking time there.
Yeah. I think I've just figured it out from every season from now on. I'm just going to buy every domain that's open for any character that's on there, and then I'll start soliciting to them. Like,
Right. I mean, unfortunately, they're not all characters. You get dudes like me who are a fucking character. Then you get, regular tattooers who don't turn themselves into a fucking novelty like I did.
who name some of these non-novelty tattoo artists you worked
Oh,
with?
most of them are like you get a lot of just like normal tattooers. Like on season 12, there's this dude Jake Ross. He's just a good tattooer. He didn't turn himself into a cartoon character like dudes like he did.
Well, it sounds boring, really. Just to be a normal dude. Come on.
It kind of is. I mean, when I saw that going into it and casting for season 12, they were like, "What do you want your name to be?" I was like, "Can I be Creepy Jason?" And I was never really Creepy Jason before that. But I was like, I'm going on TV. I want to be a character on television. So I don't want to be myself on television. That's fucking boring.
I, I find that to be a very dynamic and interesting part of the process because when I was on season 3, it was like nobody was trying for any characters. We were really trying almost not to be, right? We were like, hey, you're trying to make me a character. Don't you dare make me famous. I don't want that. And then
Yeah.
season 4, I begin to see the changes of that. And then any seasons that I've been able to watch, a little bit of trauma still experiencing. So
Oh,
it
I
was,
get it.
you get it.
Yeah.
So there was some trauma, but any season I've seen after that, it's like they were more and more going towards it. One of my favorite, and I think one of the people who really cornered it earliest first was the god of tattooing,
Oh, St.
Saint
Mark.
Mark.
Yeah,
Okay,
St.
I
Mark.
was I was
Yeah.
wondering if you could finish my sentence for
Oh
me.
yeah, yeah. St. Mark. You dudes like St. Mark and Clean Rock is like the fucking king of developing his character over Ink Master, and that's kind of he was like the archetype. He was like, I want to be Creep Rock one. That's my goal.
Okay, so you weren't. This didn't come then from the god of tattooing, who is always been a character inside of his shop. This came from Clean Rock more.
Kinda. Yeah. I mean, nothing against.
Okay.
Yeah, St. Mark. But it is kind of weird when you set yourself up as this alternate character, like a alter ego. But that's kind of what tattooing is like now. It's like you got to be a little bit of a rock star to be a successful tattooer, which kind of fucking sucks because it isn't just based on your talent anymore. It's based on your persona and your image.
Well, I mean, I always like to compare things to the saying: the more they change, the more they stay the same. And I see definitely where you're right that now we have to be more of a character. But even going back, I just see it on a different scale almost. That there was a lot of talented artists that were not working as much as the character artists, if you will, or the people who allowed themselves to be Tony Tats or
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever, name
Yeah.
it was that they then followed tattoos with, and that's who they then became. You're like, why is Sean Tats getting more work than this extremely talented person with no name?
Right. Because he's got a gimmick, and you market it, and that's like that. It works. It's advertising. It's just stupid, but
It's
it is.
it's why we're on the show, I guess.
It
Um,
is. That's that. And I have no problem like selling out, so to speak, and being on tattoo TV. Fuck it.
mhm. Well, yeah, it's certainly there was a backlash earlier on for some of us. I remember dealing with Jimmy Litwack explained it to me better than almost anybody, I feel like, because he was saying, he was high up when he came on the show.
Oh
He
yeah.
added a air of credibility to all of us there. And a lot of his friends were telling him, man, this thing's not good for it. It's bad for tattooing. It's not you don't get to control how they view this show. And
Correct.
that was actually where he said, well, wait, the only way to control it is to be on it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of my thought on it too. Was like I'm going to show people who I am and what I think tattooing is. I'm going to represent myself and how I enjoy tattooing personally.
You feel you did pretty good at that?
I think I'm really good at that. Yeah, I think like my personality really kind of comes off on it, and I don't really take much seriously, but I do take tattooing seriously.
Yes. I feel that too, honestly. I wouldn't let me give you a little compliment in that watching this season, one dynamic character, there's several dynamic characters, but dude, you were exactly what we've just talked about. You knew the cameras were on. It seemed as though you were playing up to it a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And what I like about that is you were going there with a purpose to be this character. So playing up to it is really just kind of you being you playing the character, which I know is a paradox. But
right.
meanwhile, this season, it seems as though they gave a lot of time for responses. Do you follow?
This season was, I mean, it was way more stressful than the previous one I was on, season 12, because it was entirely new.
Mhm.
There was a lot of new everything. So I think they were still like working the bugs out behind the scenes. In front of the cameras, it definitely felt a little more pushed. And they really weren't giving us more time to do everything. I just think everybody who was on it was from previous seasons, so we all knew the dog and pony show. Man, we all knew
Right.
how to act right on camera and give them what they want.
Well, they also, every single thing. I mean, I almost saw this as a drawback. I don't know how the rest of the world sees it, but for my interest in it, they really worked at trying to give you guys so much time. So they're like, today's challenge is precision. And then everybody's got to be like, I mean, every one of everybody's got a response, and it seems like it goes on almost 5 minutes. I'm making that mount up, but of everybody saying, "Oh my God, precision! Oh my God, I've never thought
Oh,
about having to do
right.
precision in my tattoos."
Exactly. Yeah, like act like that's new. Like, oh wow, I've never done that before. Oh,
Right,
yeah. Yeah, you do it, and then they're like, all right, we need bigger reactions. Do it again. They're like, oh, okay, and then you do it again a third time. You're like, oh fuck, man. So yeah, between doing one take 3 times, like they get enough out of all of us, they can cut it together.
hmm and
Like a
so they
TV match.
were for us. They actually filmed a lot of her reactions, but with nothing vocal. But they would film them in a very canned way. So they'd line us all up the way, that they wanted it to look inside of the village. And then they would say, okay, somebody just opened. I mean, this is a straight up line from the director. Somebody just opened a hot tuna fish sandwich next to you on the subway. Give
Yeah.
your visual response. Did they do any of that?
Not in the new one. In season 12,
Okay,
that's how
yeah.
we did reactions before we started filming the actual scene.
But
But this
but
time,
this
yeah,
time
they
they
just don't.
switch it up.
Yep, they just fed off of us because, like I said, they
Mhm.
knew we all knew what we were supposed to do, so they didn't fuck around with doing reactions.
I follow. I almost felt that it seemed that there wasn't audio involved. And this is just for me, possibly even just because I had that knowledge of how they filmed those canned reactions before. It seemed less um it seemed more fake almost. It seemed like you could see you guys really trying to come up with interesting ways
Yeah,
to, you know, frame the same thing. Oh, I'm scared of perspective today. Oh my
yeah.
God.
That's not all, Dave. Oh no, I didn't see that coming. And you roll your eyes really big. It's like,
Yeah. Tell me, Dave, do you feel he was really there? Was there any kind of actual correspondence, or this is all in Hollywood? He went to a green screen, filmed it all in one day.
no, some of it was live. Some of it he actually talked to us there.
Oh
And
wow.
it was like that classic, like, let's go to a reporter in the field, and it's like that 2 second delay when they have to respond to shit. It was
Yes. I was wondering because there was no delay that we see, but obviously they can edit that out. So there was times. So he was actually back and forth with you guys.
yeah, yeah. Some of it was pre-recorded, some of it was live.
Okay. That's nice though. I mean, well, somewhat nice because you imagine that the guy's still getting
Right.
paid the same, but however, it fits so conveniently into his schedule,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
almost
yeah. I was
mad
really
at it.
kind of hoping he was going to show up in person in the end, like pull back the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz coming out, but he didn't.
Right. Oh, COVID. That was something that was new during your guys filming this season.
Yeah, because I fucking got it during filming.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Someone told me that filming was actually shut down on one or two occasions for a couple of the contestants.
it
You must
was.
have been one of them.
Yes, yeah, it was me and Katie McGowan. She got it first, and I got it from her. And she would have been booted off the show if she missed an elimination tattoo. And the night after a flash challenge, I get COVID. I get the results back, and they call me, "Hey, you got COVID." The next day, it would have been the tattoo that she would have missed. So I kind of saved her by being in the competition.
Oh, I follow because then they
Uh,
had to production had to shut down completely, or
Yep, because there's two. They said if two of you get it, we're gonna quarantine. The two whoever gets it stays in their hotel room because we all had our own hotel rooms this time. Unlike before, we all live in a dorm, which was
right.
fucking cool for after hours when you're partying. And this time we had our own hotel rooms to stay in, which is great when you want to jerk off by yourself. You don't got to do it all sneaky in a sock and hope nobody hears.
All
Uh,
right.
so yeah, I ended up getting it, and like I was like episode 4 is when I get it, and I'm already like beat the fuck up. Or no, I think it's episode 6, and I'm like, oh
Okay.
fuck, man, I'm already like, it's wearing me down really quick this season. So I get COVID, and I'm like, cool, awesome, I'm gonna go home. And the showrunner calls me, and she's like, hey, good news, Jason, we're gonna quarantine. You get to stay here longer, not fucking do anything for 10 days, and then we're gonna add more filming onto the end. And I'm like, oh god damn it, I just want to fucking go home, man. I'm like so miserable right now.
You shouldn't be miserable though. You were doing great. I'm not wrong in thinking that. I mean, well, we got our front runners. I think Gian and DJ. are always up there, but you're right there in the pack with all of them all the way through.
I mean, I didn't know that at the time. I mean, and it took me because I'm a fucking idiot. Apparently, I didn't realize there was like an alliance as big as there was in this new season, and they were working against me. That came to a shock to me when I saw it on television. But then I'm like, oh, it makes sense why I'm so miserable because I feel like everybody's working against me, and they kind of
Right.
work.
People, actually, I just talked with Andrea too.
Oh,
She just got tattooed by Bubba not too long ago in
I
Nashville.
saw that. Yeah.
Um, she, I got a bunch of questions to ask her about it,
Uh,
and so I was very curious about all of how they could do this now with COVID, with with everything they went through. My understanding became, you help me out where you understand and you can clarify,
yeah.
but that they originally expected this to be an international show with 8 other contestants that we never saw.
Yes, correct. That's what was sold to I think all of us is that was going to be all stars, a team of all stars versus a team of international tattooers. But I guess with COVID and getting people in and out of Canada, because the restrictions there were pretty tight, it just they couldn't make it happen.
And that's where they call up a couple of their Ink Master friends who have some time off, and they ask them to be a part of it.
Yeah, I guess they just dangle that carrot in front of a bunch of heads and see which one of us go for the bite again.
Surprising for me to see that so many people or that so many ink masters could have that time scheduled away. I can't wait to have some of those guys on, or at least have some conversations with them, um, to ask how it is that they were able to clear up their books. I know it's been a problem for a lot of people before,
It was
but
a
now
huge
that
problem this
okay,
time. Yeah, because they kept pushing. Because we were supposed to start filming maybe a month and a half before we actually did. So I clear my schedule for the full. It was like 7 weeks of filming because I was like, if I'm going back, I'm going to be a finalist. So I clear that off, and then so then I got to like bump all those people
mm,
again. And then when I get there and I get sick
it's
and they
another 10
quarantine and
days.
they bump out another week, and I'm like, fuck, man, I've already pushed these clients around like 3 times around the filming schedule. It's like they're gonna know some shit is up. So it was a fucking
Oh,
logistic
right.
nightmare with my schedule.
Because at the same time, you can't let your clients know where you're at or what you're doing.
Yeah, they had no clue. I didn't post anything that I was going to be gone. I just disappeared.
Wow. So did they were they understanding?
After the fact, when they found out what happened, yeah, they were pretty understanding. They were like, "Oh, now we get." It. I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, sorry." It's like I couldn't say anything because I'm not going to violate my fucking NDA. That's the last thing I want to do is have Andrea like beating down my door with some
Yeah.
lawyers because I fucked up and said
It's like
something.
$2 million, I believe. They try to get you
It's
on.
something like that. Yeah, I don't have it laying around right now.
Well, after the board game.
Yeah, maybe after the board game. Yeah, and I'm gonna be a board game tycoon.
Can't wait. Um, Moreover, on Ink Master, I felt like you were doing a great job. You had personality, and I honestly, maybe I shouldn't, but I felt like you were the star of the show. I feel like you stole of any recognition that's going on. We already know DJ. We already know Gian. They've already been on. We kind of know you, but your season, that was the season that got swept under the rug, wasn't it?
No, it was the previous. Oh, the one after season 13 had no finale. That
Oh, I
was
thought you were season. What season were you then?
season
I
12.
thought you were
Yeah,
season
I was the battle of
12.
the
Okay.
sexes. Team of dudes, team of chicks.
Okay. I do. I recall that one now. I didn't see it again. Um,
But I was
I
cool.
just binged this one last night,
Uh-huh.
and it's not bad. It's not bad. I honestly liked it, and then at times I hated it because mostly the canned reactions, or not the canned reactions, but the reactions watching and knowing that I've been in that situation, watching people have to come up with a new way to be scared of something they already expect they would be doing.
Right.
It seems so crazy that people would come to a competition and find out the rules of the competition and then be like, "Oh, damn, I wasn't prepared for that."
Yeah, that's probably one of my least favorite parts is having to force reactions to shit that you already know. Like,
Mm.
oh, we're gonna win $250,000 and the title of Ink Master. I didn't remember that from 2 days ago.
Thanks for reminding us. Oh yeah, it's 250. What what was your favorite part of the filming then?
Oh, my exit interview when I was getting ready to go home.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm still right on. You have not gone home.
Oh,
What
okay.
what,
Yeah, I
what
don't
did you
even
go
know
home on? What
uh
contest? Which
the finale. I took it to the end again. Spoiler alert.
yes.
Yeah,
Nice job.
yeah.
Um I did understand that Gian also makes it to the finale. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, you
And
don't
then
have
it
to
must be
doubt that.
DJ.
Yeah, yeah. When you see how good a tattoos he's doing, there's no doubt that Gian was going to the finale.
Okay.
He's fucking that guy's super efficient at what he does.
Man, I was working on my Gian impersonation last night. I was getting it down because he's got some W's. But I can't do it now. I gotta watch him for a minute. But he's got a very unique way of speaking, doesn't he?
He does. I love him. I love the dude. He's like that. That's the big question: is what's Gian really like? Is he that much of an asshole? And I'm like, no. I
No.
was like, he's funny as shit. He's great to film with. He's just playing the game, and he got kind of the bad guy edit this time because someone had to be the bad guy.
Right. Well, he was going after it too, right? He was kind of
You
putting himself out there for the bad guy at it.
he's playing the game, man, and
Mm.
that's what you're supposed to fucking do.
I think I've never seen Gian on the episode on I hadn't watched any of his episodes of Ink Master. I had only worked next to him on a few occasions, seen him at different conventions, hung out with
Uh,
him. He's an awesome, extremely
yeah, he's
cool
fucking fun.
guy. Really happy around. I never got that, and then I would occasionally people would then say, "Well, what do you think of this Ink Master, that Ink Master?" And then they would bring up Gian, and they'd be like, "He's kind of an asshole, huh?" I'd be like, "What?"
Yes.
No, I don't get that at all. I get the same with Josh Payne. Everybody tells me, "Oh my God, I hated him." I'm like, I love that man.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just a bad edit, man. He just make them look like assholes.
well, we are going there for a purpose, right? And we know that there's a competition, and we know that the biggest thing that you get away from it is the recognition. So not being remembered. Did they tell you that? They used to tell us that, hey, if nobody remembers you, what good was any of this? Did they tell you guys anything like that?
No, but I knew that. I kind of Jimmy Litwalk. He helped me with some pointers about shit like that going into my first season. Just said, "What? Be careful with what you say. This
Mhm.
is your character. No, like just give them all the time want to be edited. Because if you say one dumb thing, it'll pop back up every fucking episode."
They'll use it and use it. It's interesting. He has helped he more people prepare for that show than I think anybody else. When I talk to so many different ink masters, they'll be like, "Well, I call it Jimmy."
Yeah.
Jimmy gave me a couple of tips, and even while I was there in season 3, he was. I mean, there were a lot of down moments where you're just like, "God, I'm on myself. I'm feeling terrible."
Oh yeah.
And what's all this worth? And should I maybe go home and stuff? And he always put it in perspective. At one point, he told me, Kyle, how much would you pay for a commercial to run for 30 seconds during Ink Masters for your tattoo shop? And that just put it all in reference right there, didn't it? I was like, okay, yeah. So how much would I actually pay to be a focus of the whole fucking show? This is worth well more than 100,000.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they told us when you're there, you're making a 45-minute long commercial for yourself, and that's what it was.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I went into it, especially going back the second time. I was like, fuck, I'm going to go in there, big dick energy, and just try to control every scene that I'm in because I
How'd that
want
work
to
out?
remember. Worked out pretty good. Like I said, I was in season 14. I was in a lot of scenes. I'm fucking funny. I showed up and I'm getting in people's faces. And granted, a lot of it was kind of bullshitty. I was doing it just for the cameras, but it worked.
Do people, now that they meet you, do they, hey, where's the hat? Just like I did. Do they say, what about the shoes, man? Where's the character?
Yeah, the character, I turn it off, man. Like I said, I put it on when I go to conventions. I put it on if I'm doing like a podcast or doing video. I'll wear the hat sometimes, but it's nice to be able to take it off. It's like Superman putting the glasses on and then he becomes Clark Kent.
You think you feel safer sometimes being Clark Kent then?
Oh, 100%. I can go to shopping and walking around. I put the fucking hat on and people recognize me.
Lex Luthor's not trying to figure out who I am. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yep. Yeah. So it's nice to be able to control the character creepy Jason and then just be regular Jason when I want to be.
Everybody in there you pretty much get along with. Was there anybody that you're like, fuck this dude?
No, not really, man. This new season, we all got along really good. And that's kind of the big problem with the show is that most of us tattooers do get along. And then we have to act like we don't for the cameras.
Yeah. How real was it then when Katie was going after Gian?
It was all bullshit. It was all bullshit.
Because
It
I
was
feel
all just
like
for fun.
she's getting up, and I know Katie. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
I don't think I could be wrong, but she is not a physical person. She jumps up, she's going after and she's like, "You
Yeah.
don't physically fight me." And at one moment, you're like, "Oh, that's serious." And then we never see anything more. It's like it cut away.
Yeah.
I feel like she probably busted up laughing, crossing the room or something. Am I
Pretty
wrong?
much. Pretty much. We were all trying to not laugh.
Okay. I love, well, success. You guys did a great job then, because I'm sure there's many people at home that are like, man, that girl was about to beat that guy's ass.
Yeah, that little dude. No, yeah, that was all pretty. That was all just fun.
Oh, pulling the wool back, man, or pulling the curtain back.
Yeah,
We're
man.
seeing
Yeah,
the man behind it. The great Oz is not so powerful. Um,
yeah, yeah. You gotta have fun there.
what's your takeaways from the group of people working conspiratorially? You know, Andrea always tells me that's a word she doesn't like to have associated with her, but literally, there is a conspiracy of writers, of editors, and of production that are trying to get something. Whether or not it's working for you, I think depends on the storyline a lot. Did you have any takeaways from that? From the feeling of these conspiring forces?
You mean like the story team, like trying to develop narrative and
Yes,
everything?
because I
Oh,
see that you already recognized that there was a conspiracy of sorts because of the alliance. But did you have any takeaways or any feelings of like, man, these guys really want this story? They keep saying they want me to fight with this person. They keep on
oh,
mentioning,
man. Yeah, I mean to a degree because that's their product, man. That's what they have to sell is the drama and the story. And it's I don't have a problem doing that. But I also like to control my own narratives and being like, hey, me and Gian, we're actually talking about the alliance now. And next episode, I think he wants to approach me, and I'm going to say no, but in the following episode, I'll say yes. So we're like trying to work out multi-episode story arcs amongst ourselves. Because if you can control your own narrative, then you're going to be presented better on television for who you are and what you want to do.
oh, genius, genius. It really is. Because yes, yeah, you're absolutely right. And those forces are obviously going to be there. In some
Yeah.
cases, even in my case, when I felt them originally, I felt that it was all wrong, because I'm there trying to compete, is what I think. And I'm really to figure out where I'm at, and to open and broaden my horizons. So as I would feel the forces of a conspiracy, it would build up on me. But had I recognized that they're actually there for my benefit and that all of that attention was a benefit, I don't know that I would have ever tried to strike the guy. I'm pretty sure I would have been like, oh, well, this is all good for me.
Right. I mean, it kind of is. Like, there's no such thing as bad press. That's what they say.
Mm-hmm. No,
Just,
you're
just
right.
going on the show alone, man. It doesn't matter what you do, but the more you do there, whether it's right or wrong, the more memorable you're going to be.
Yeah, it's got another, I don't know, 6 months and I'll be investing in Tesla.
Right.
But because there's no such thing as bad PR, this is just a downward slump and it's gonna get ready to skyrocket again. That's
I
my
know,
idea.
man. Yeah.
Any what brings you to card games um that you have such a love for them?
I've always loved them. Like, I've been playing board games and role playing games like Magic and Dungeons and Dragons since I was a kid. Always read comic books. Before I was a tattooer, like I wanted to get into comic book art. Those guys don't get laid. Tattooers get laid. So I went that route instead.
I
But now
like it.
now that I got like the income and I can support myself comfortably, I can like, cool, maybe I can branch off creatively into something else, man. Like dig my fingers into another project. And a couple of years ago, I
How,
had the idea of making my own board game, and I just worked on it for a few years, and now it is like a real game. It's like a world building.
what happens with this board game now that I mean, you're getting interest. It's not obviously just a rip off of another game, or you would be sued, I'm guessing.
Right.
Um, so this is so where does it go now? You've got interested people from Ink Masters, but it's not really a tattoo related thing that has such easy transition from your fame. Do you follow me? Like it seems like it takes some more convincing, some more marketing.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different arena from tattooing. So it's a whole other clientele base that I'm trying to tap into. So I won't just be bringing it to tattoo conventions. I'll be taking it to gaming conventions as well and trying to cross market the gaming side of what I like to do with the tattoo side of what I do.
Have you been to gaming conventions before?
Only as a patron, not as
Yes.
like as an exhibitor.
I've never seen that. Certainly in card games, I apologize. I'm sure there's none needed, but have never excited me that much. Um, I'm guessing that when you go to these gaming conventions, that's the majority of it, though, is like Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. Yeah. That's. I mean, there's a lot of tattooers who are also those guys too.
Right.
So a lot of cross networking between the two
But there's
industries.
not, say, Monopoly's not really there.
No, yeah, yeah. Those like Parker Brothers kind of those games aren't really represented there.
Okay.
It's more the shit that I'm doing that's creative and weird and trying to push gaming to a new level.
Do you doing your own art? You're hiring out for art?
Oh, I did all my own everything. The only thing I had to hire out for was the 3D models for the figures because I can't 3D model to save my life. I tried it once and I made something that looked like a prolapsed asshole. That was about it.
Yeah.
So I found a kid in Moscow who I outsourced all my modeling to, and he was very efficient.
Yeah, he has to be. He's working for the state there.
Yeah, yeah,
Meanwhile, he's also sowing disruption inside of the American political system with memes, I imagine, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it probably looked really good to my
After I
FBI
do my
as I'm
state
sending all this money to
propagandist work.
Russia. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, right to Moscow, huh?
yeah, yeah. Like, why is Jason fucking PayPaling this dude in Moscow every week?
For my podcast, I have one listener in Russia, in Moscow, just one. All of Russia. I mean, we're worldwide, but Russia's only one spot right in Moscow. I'm like, man, do I have to be careful of what I say about Putin?
Yeah, yeah, please do. Yeah, dude,
I'm
at least
gonna,
I got internet, so that's a good thing.
yeah, I'm gonna find up some Novacek on my doorway or something.
Yeah, right.
Oh, damn, I shouldn't have said that, huh? No, I'm not. Of course not. I
Yeah,
don't imply that there's anything nefarious going on inside of that administration.
yeah,
Moving right along. Um,
right.
so your takeaways all seem very positive. Your production experience with Andrea and the like as well, very positive.
I'd say they're positive now. Like coming off of the last season, I was miserable, but that's the game. Like I signed up for it, so I can't really hate doing it. Uh,
What brought that about?
the what the
The
misery of
misery, yeah.
just the competition itself. You know, like it's stressful. It's the competition,
Mhm.
and then I didn't have really any allies there. A lot of everybody else who came back had at least one friend. I didn't have any fucking friends. Everybody's working against me.
Is it
I'm like old. Like doing some of these flash challenges were just like painful physically on my fucking old man body. And I just was like getting in my head. It was a whole lot of, it was a perfect storm of
the COVID
stress.
kind of helped then
And
either? Is that really diminishes your energy and all that? And usually it can last for weeks
Jesus,
after.
yeah. And yeah, yeah. Like I said, and that was halfway through filming. I got COVID. I go back into it after a 10-day quarantine, and I'm like, fuck, man. I really am not mentally prepared to be around all these other personalities on
Right.
camera 12 hours a day again. Like I'm fucking beat, exhausted. Yeah, that part was pretty horrible.
You've watched the show now. What when when we see Katie for the first time make an excuse besides COVID for wearing a mask? What the fuck did they leave that in for?
I don't know. Yeah, that was because that was the episode we came back. That was our first. We we
Right.
we
And
quarantined for 10 days, and then we come back and jump right into an elimination tattoo, and it's neck tattoos on top of everything. So we're literally in people's faces,
breathing.
breathing
Yeah.
on them. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm not wearing a mask. I can't tattoo in those fucking things. I hate them. So, but she was a lot more polite about it than I was. So good for her.
But then she was also, I don't know, it's very polite. I love Kate. I don't want this to be taken wrong. But at the same time, not saying the actual reason. Now I'm going to wear this mask just for,
Yeah,
a thing.
just in
Like
case. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I love that. I felt like maybe you guys give a actual reference for the thing we're going through. No, okay, we'll just move right along
Yeah.
like it never even happened.
Yeah. It doesn't skip a beat. Like we got COVID midway through episode 6, and you can't even tell that there was a 10-day break filming one episode.
Right, except for the extremely, I still don't understand why this it fucked with the flow. Just for her to say, I'm going to put on this mask. And then it seemed like it never was they never even showed her tattooing with it on. They may have, but if she hadn't referenced, I'm putting this mask on.
You wouldn't even
And
notice.
yeah, it
Yeah.
just, and then oh, God bless him. I find those kinds of things, those kind of decisions really interesting because I always feel like there's like 6 or 7 people around a table not being able to make up their mind on, so do we show this part? Do we not show this part? And
Oh
then
yeah,
to sit,
I would love to know. Yeah, what happens in the editing room? Like how they're figuring out what to show and what not to show.
I that would be invaluable actually as a contestant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It's like then you can really control your narrative. The whole time you're kind of trying to read through the context, like what narrative are they going for? What are they
Right.
thinking? Oh, it's angry Kyle. All right, I got
Yeah,
this one.
yeah. Angry
Creepy
Kyle.
Jason,
Yeah,
much better than Angry Kyle. I'm going to tell
yeah,
you, like, if you got a name to choice, Angry Kyle is not going to lead you off in a good direction for winning.
yeah,
Creepy at least gets people to remember you, know that you're lurking in the shadows behind them.
yeah. I'm always stalking someone.
Did you ever put like I want this guy out. I'm gonna work at this even behind the scenes, perhaps, or convince others to be on my alliance. It didn't seem like you had alliance, so I'm guessing no.
No, yeah, I just went into this new season just trying to do what I do on my own. The previous season I was on, we did have an alliance. This time I was like, fuck it, man. I just want to show up, drink, have a good time, do tattoos, and try to win this thing by myself. And
Foolish.
that was a mistake. Yeah, that was a
do you think do you think with if you had crafted an alliance a bit more, you would have had a better chance? I mean, you already made it a finalist. So really the only next level is win. Do you think you
yeah,
could have achieved that more easily had you had an
100%.
alliance?
Yeah, because not being on an alliance, I got the shit into the stick many times,
Mhm.
and I think then that beat me down like week after week after week. It does. It wears on you more than you think it's going to. And then one day you wake up and you're like, wow, I'm fucking miserable now because
Yeah.
I'm getting to pick my own tattoos. I'm not getting to really spread my wings and show off like I want to because they're giving me crap every fucking week. So I think if I would
Mhm.
have had a couple weeks in a row where I got to do what I wanted to do and show off, I would have had a way better time. I would have probably excelled more than I did. I mean, I made it to the end, but it felt like work getting there.
Yeah. You think the confidence is everything for artists, I find. For me, if I'm having a bad day, it can really show in my tattooing. And I really have to sometimes work hard to disassociate myself from whatever else is going on in my life and just really enjoy the concentration that goes into the tattoo so that it doesn't end up looking like how I feel at that moment.
100%. Yeah. I mean, and not just confidence, but passion. Like you have to be in
Okay.
love
Yeah.
with what you're doing. You have to be in a good mood. You know, when you're fucking depressed and upset, it's hard to find the fuel that passions the art.
Yeah. When Katie came up with her dragon, on Asian Day.
Yep.
I love Katie. I don't want this to be taken wrong. Hopefully she doesn't hear it, I guess. But that fucking dragon was busted.
That tattoo was horrible.
that
It was really bad. Yeah.
thing.
I was like, ah. I was like,
I was.
seeing it, I was like, cool. I like, at least I know I'm safe. But god damn it, Katie, I wish you did better on that fucking tattoo.
It was, but that's what I felt like. Here's an example of that. Somebody who's been putting it all in and all in, and then just gets weakened by, well, I guess the COVID probably just gone on too, but gets weakened by the lack of support and the lack of confidence and passion, or the lack of confidence then dwindles the passion, and then she's just like, I'm gonna try and skate through the day in with what I know Katie to be capable of, and her understanding of tattooing. It just didn't seem to fit. So I
Oh, and
figured,
dude, and here's another cool factoid for you. That episode was a 2-day episode. So pull back the curtain here for normies. It takes 3 days
please.
to make one episode. So you do your flash is day one, the tattoo is day two, and then critique and elimination is day three. Japanese day was a 2-day episode. So we did the flash day, and then we had to draw overnight, and then we did tattooing, and then critique and elimination.
You've
So
seen it in her work.
yeah, so
There
getting
was
that
that.
tattoo, there's no fucking way you're going to draw a dragon in a couple of fucking hours as a half sleeve, and then it's feasibly the deck was stacked against her. So like the fact that she even came out with a tattoo to even do, like, props to her for that.
What did they give you for reference and such? You had Google, you had Getty Images. What'd you have?
Yeah, Google and Getty. Yep.
Okay. I wasn't, because what's to keep me from doing what every ink master that I'm aware of has done prior. And by the ones I'm aware of, remember, please remember, I haven't really watched Beyond Five until I think it was 9 or 10, and then it was intermittent. But everybody copied straight off Google. Like, so she could have possibly gone and just gotten a full dragon off of Google and then worked from that. Or was there, do you think that would have come out in the judging?
I don't think it would have come out in the judging, but I think it would have compromised her integrity, and she didn't
Okay.
do that. So, and I think
Yeah.
that's good for her. Like, I would rather lose drawing my own tattoo than win copying somebody else's.
Yeah. Well, now the tattoo isn't in your preferred style, perhaps. So isn't it better in that case as an ink master to reference to somebody whose work you like?
I mean, why the hell not? I mean, in the real world, we do it every day.
Okay. Yeah, that's my argument, I guess there.
Yep.
I never did while I was there. And then as I went back and watched, like I remember painstakingly drawing everything and then checking my proportions and
Yep.
then rechecking because it wasn't already created for me. And meanwhile, Scott and Joey, who are the winners for my two prospective seasons, both of them, I don't know if they drew much of anything their whole season, but
You don't
instead
have to now.
recreated.
Yeah, you can fucking just trick. Now they got stamp. You just put a stamp on there, dude, and it's a pre-drawn koi fish or pre-drawn this, and you just
Oh, right.
yeah. So it's just like there's less and less drawing that's needed in tattooing every day.
You mean like in my Procreate, how
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
nowadays it is such a common ass tattoo. And please, for the listening audience, understand your stopwatch, or excuse me, your pocket watch tattoo is so fucking commonplace
I know.
inside of that. I am now taking a stamp. There was a time when I was like, I tried to make each one unique. I was like, I would search for a new pocket watch that I hadn't used prior. And then I would, and you build up this thing. You even change the hands always. So it's somebody else's time of death or time of birth or whatever. And then, and then I would bring it to them. They're like, I like that one, but you know what one I really like? And then they would show you an image of one that you passed by because you had done it prior.
Yeah, yeah. That's why
And
pocket watches are on my ban list.
a good man. Now,
Yeah,
when a pocket watch goes on a wrist, is it still a pocket watch?
it's a wristwatch then, I guess.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Like that, it's not a pocket watch anymore. Yeah, fuck them things.
But I'm
But
still not.
you're still not doing. What else is on your band list?
Like basic bitch tats, like little black birds, fucking dandelions. I hate butterflies for some reason.
Hate
Uh,
them.
hate them. Landscape tattoos. And I like to have tattoos with subject matters in it.
Okay.
Lettering, I almost refuse to put lettering in anything most of the time because I spell shit wrong very quickly.
That
So,
was my very next question.
yeah, I mean, there's not a tattooer on the fucking planet who hasn't spelled some shit wrong in a tattoo before. We've all fucking done it before. It's the worst feeling in the world when you're
Yeah.
zapping something and you look down and you're like, oh fuck, man. You try to cover it up with your hand so they don't notice it. Like, and
You're
all you can think about is how am I going to fix this as you're doing the rest of the letters. You're like, oh, this
uh,
sucks.
pure swamp ass. It just
Yeah,
started, just immediate humidity in my ass cheeks.
yeah, it's
What
the worst feeling in the world.
you're out there around Baltimore, right? You're in Baltimore, aren't you?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
I'm like a half an hour north in like the country side of Maryland.
I'm doing a guest spot at Halo Shop one day. Somebody talks me into doing some lettering on his tattoo, traditional tattoo. Um, it was a Ben Franklin quote or something like that.
Uh,
It doesn't matter. I misspelled the word
oh,
you. I spelled it like a Korean that was pissed off about your dry cleaning bill.
uh-huh.
YUO.
Yes. Why you owe? Oh no. Did you notice it before the you inked it in or
I mean, like right after, the last letter is going into you. I'm like, why does that you look so fucking weird?
ah
Oh, because it's not a you.
because it's not
I,
you, yeah.
I have no idea. I oh God. And the worst, of course, being at a guest spot. And then the second worst, being at a guest spot at Halo Shop.
Yeah.
Like
That
that
sucks.
kid is beyond reason for ability. And it's disgusting his level that he achieves. And here I am misspelling the most basic of shit.
We've all done it though. You can't feel bad.
Yeah, it eventually just becomes one of those. Yeah, I couldn't even really have this conversation with clients so much as I can have it with artists, right?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, because we all relate to it,
Yeah, you'll be
Our clients
sympathetic.
can be mortified, but us we can
Yeah.
laugh out.
They're like, wait a sec, I've done spelling before. You know what I've never misspelled in my life was the word you.
Yeah,
Three
and
letters. There's like so few configurations to even fuck that up. Like, oh well.
yeah.
Moving on. I got some questions here from online, if you don't mind me asking. Some of the Redditors are
Ooh,
interested in
okay,
in some questions here for you. And
cool.
I may have already gone over some of them, but I want to give them a chance to ask and say their name and give you a chance to respond if you don't
Cool
mind.
beans. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So a string of numbers or so asks, I'm kind of curious what he thinks, meaning you, of course, about the differences between his season and the recent one, especially in terms of production, which is interesting to me because
Ooh,
maybe he's not aware that I guess maybe when he's saying your season, maybe he means 11 to, or was it 11, right?
12, 12, 12 and
12,
14.
12, 14. Yeah. Did you notice much difference?
Oh, there's a huge difference. Yeah, huge, huge. Because season 12, season like I think 2 or 3 through 13 were all filmed in Ironbound in New Jersey,
New Jersey.
where
Yeah.
where it was they had a system down for everything. It was a well-oiled machine for the most part. This season was all filmed in Vancouver. It was a new production. It was new sets. It was new cast. It was new everything. So there were a lot of hiccups, a lot of technical issues.
Was there a
Uh,
lot of new production assistants too?
yeah,
Or
there were a lot of
runners and
lot
all?
of new faces
Okay.
because it was in Vancouver, so they had to hire a lot of Vancouverites to be in the production. So that was different.
Wait, this was in Vancouver, not Toronto.
Yes, this was filmed in Vancouver,
Okay, I wasn't aware. That's actually where
which
my
is a
family's from.
yeah. The food in Vancouver was horrible. So
What?
also, yeah, I didn't have a good meal for like 8 weeks. Maybe that was part of why I was miserable too. It was very bland. The food is very bland in Vancouver. I guess because it's
Now
so
you guys weren't
health
on the
conscious.
island, you were on the mainland of
We're in
Vancouver,
the
right?
mainland. Yeah, yeah.
It's a very populated and very happening city usually. I'm surprised they had bad food.
I
I'm
guess
amazed.
I don't get it, man. I didn't see the sunshine for. I think the sun came out twice the whole time I was there. It was 55 degrees and overcast every day. This doesn't
Good
help.
Lord. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I don't
with
have the best.
production differences, was it you could feel kind of like problems too that you weren't even aware or not aware of, but has nothing to do with your day to day, but I'm guessing being new production assistants and such, that
Oh
there
yeah,
were a lot of communication errors and a lot of things that needed to be worked out.
yeah, just some hiccups. You know, it's a new production, so that's going to happen. But it sucks on our end when they're like they wake us up at fuck 6 o'clock in the morning, get us stressed. We got microphones on. A problem happens, and you're sitting in cast holding, which was just essentially a room for 4 hours. We're just sitting there and just bullshitting with each other and like fuck. And their energy levels go down and down and down. And then they fix it. You got to be on camera. And then you got to pick those energy levels back up. And we're fucking mainlining Red Bulls just to keep us going through most of the day. So it was a lot of, it's like a roller coaster of energy all day long, almost every day.
Yeah. I'm glad at least they made hypodermics available and IVs available to you for the Red Bull.
Oh, yeah, man. It was either that or butt chug them. So,
And you didn't have enough tampons, huh?
yeah, yeah. And I just put the whole can right in there, just dump it out.
Lucerna 26. You familiar with Lucerna? Isn't that a country band?
Oh, hell if I know.
Okay. Anyways, moving on. Lucerna 26 says, given his job as a content creator and his participation in TTRPGS's role-playing games, I'm guessing that is, what is TT in that?
Tabletop.
Okay, right on. Nothing to do with transvestites. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
I'm curious about his position. See, that's why because he's curious next. I was like, he's curious about the transvestites in the role-playing games. Okay.
Maybe I am. Don't know.
Mhm. I'm curious about his position's concerns on, help me out here, WOTC OGL 1.1.
That's Wizards of the Coast, which is what's the other one? Which WOTC, Wizards of the Coast? What are the other letters that are in there?
OGL?
OGL. The fuck is OGL? Is that like a
Wizards of the Coast, too. The W and the C are capital. In the OGL, everything's capital there.
OGL response? Oh, I'm not, dude. I just found out about this the other day because I'm working on another side project, a Dungeons and Dragons campaign for a platform called Pathfinder, and we had to pause it because Wizards of the Coast is kind of big dicking, and they want something to do with money. I don't even know what it is. I don't have a response to this because I'm not even like up to speed on all the Wizards of the Coast shit that's happening right now in the gaming industry.
But some shit was going on enough. Some people are trying to, like
Yes,
you
yeah.
said, big dick it up. Like we are the controlling faction. We are the Amazon. We are the Facebook. Fuck you, pay us.
Yeah, yeah. Wizards of the Coast, they're kind of like I don't even know how to put it, man. They're like a big entity in gaming. They own a lot of shit. So I guess they're just kind of consuming more and more and more. I don't even know. And it just comes down to money. That's what it is. They just want
Right.
more shit.
Do you think that you're low level? No offense, but I'm guessing. I really don't know. But you're low level. You're starting trying to market this new product of yours. Is there a concern that there will be competition from them, that they won't want you to, that they'll try to water it down or anything like
Oh
that?
no, no, not at all. Because I'm like
Okay.
I'm small potatoes, man. I'm a first time designer. I'm just gonna go up on Kickstarter and crowdfund, and maybe 10 years from now they'll be like, oh, that fucking game, Dystopian Nights, is pretty cool. Let's buy it from Creepy Jason. So that's a possibility.
Dystopian Nights. I like the name too.
Yeah, thanks.
Also, what is his favorite school of magic is in tabletop RPGs. And if he could have one spell of each level IRL, what would he pick?
Oh man, I don't even know. Like because I play a sorcerer right now too, and I just throw a lot of fucking fireballs around, and a lot of acid pits are really cool. I don't even there's so many like really stupid weird spells that are out there that I don't even know, but yeah,
Is
I'd
there
say
a stupid weird spell where I could make somebody taste their own ass?
probably. Yeah, yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like the whole fight, it could possibly, you could diminish their roll ability because despite them rolling a high number, they still taste their own ass. They can't get away from that. It's a minus factor of 3. I don't know, making all this up.
Yeah, we'll go with that. That sounds perfect.
Oh my God. This person, Lucerna 26, is very interesting. I just realizing that his question that was 3 questions actually goes on because he's also curious if you've done any collaboration with any other Ink Master contestants who pursue creative gaming projects.
No, yeah, nothing. This is my board game's a solo project, but I know there's other dorky tattooers from Ink Master, but we've never done anything together.
You're familiar with Halo? Has drawn a couple. He's a big fan of Magic the Gathering. I don't think he knows how to play it. He just
Oh,
likes
really?
the art. I could
I
be
mean, I
wrong.
don't
I
even.
bet he does actually. I'm talking smack. I bet he knows how to play it. He oftentimes knows nothing about the world of something, but only about the art of something. I don't think that's true with Magic the Gathering, though, now I think about it. So, like, one time I'm talking to him and I'm like telling him about one of my favorite directors, Guillermo del Toro's
Ooh,
latest movie called Pan's Labyrinth.
right.
And I think it's beautiful the way they have when the hero heroine or hero is a young female like it was in Pan's Labyrinth. You're now confined in that body. You cannot, like in some case you might be like, oh, that guy would try that and I just bust him in his face because I'm a super tough guy. But now when you're like a 11, 12-year-old girl, or when the hero is, now you have to empathize and now you're that character, so there's a lot more weaknesses that you need to plan. I'm talking about this movie with him and how just enamored I am with the creator. And he's saying, yeah, man, I've never seen the movie or nothing. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Really, you've never seen? And I start describing the monster, and then I look at his banner behind him,
Uh,
and the dude with the eyeball hands from
yes.
Pan's Labyrinth,
Yeah, yep.
he had just tattooed that and liked it enough that he put it on his banner. So I'm like, wait, it's right fucking there. You've never seen this movie? He's like,
That's
no, I just I thought it
yeah.
was a Google. Just really liked the creature.
Oh, really? I fucking love Pan's Labyrinth, dude. Ugh.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of Guillermo del Toro. I have you watched all this Pinocchio yet?
No, I haven't, man. I'm putting it off. Is it awesome?
I'm like I like it a lot. I haven't watched it all yet. I was watching it to see if it was going to be safe to watch with my granddaughter who's just turned 5.
Probably
And
not. Del Toro.
no, so far it is safe, but there's a lot of like you might have to answer some existential questions about life and death possibly because like and possibly even about fascism. Because Guillermo likes to put fascism into his shit,
Oh,
so
yeah. His themes are super deep, man, and he hides them under that really cool, weird fantasy facade. But they're
right.
heavy, heavy tones in them.
Well, this is so I'm watching I'm liking it a lot. I still don't know if it's a kids movie yet. They appeal at some points to you're like Jiminy Cricket's in it. He gets his head smashed by one of them monkeys with the two cymbals,
Uh,
kind of just like it's a funny bit. And you're like, that was definitely intended for a child. And then prior to that, though, uh, Geppetto, yeah, Geppetto loses his son. Like they have this long moment where they bring you into this world where this guy just loves his son, and then his son is taken from him in this terrible way, and you're like, okay, so I don't know if I want to have that conversation with my 5-year-old granddaughter.
yeah, man. Because it is deep shit, dude. Like
Yeah.
fucking Pan's Labyrinth has the face, the bottle smash scene with
Yes,
the
I
face,
was.
and I'm sure a lot of parents took a lot of kids to see that film, and that scene pops up in like the first act. It's like early on. It's like holy shit, that sets a tone for the whole film.
Now when that scene went on, at least for me, like in Braveheart, the same a similar feeling. I'm watching Braveheart, it's just a movie like all movies at one point, and then they kill his wife when you're thinking he's coming over the hill, he's going to save her at any moment. And then you're just like, oh, he's nowhere to be found, huh? He's
Nope.
not
Yeah.
even close.
Yeah.
Logistically, he could never make it back. And he's one dude. He wouldn't have won the war anyways. And at that moment, I was like, I'm watching the rest of this bitch. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same thing with Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. When he found that wine bottle, smashed dude's face in front of his dad,
Yeah.
and then fucking they find the rabbit. Oh my god, you're just like, I'm watching this motherfucker. This
Dude,
terrible human being needs to be shown some comeuppance.
he's good, man, at writing villains.
Oh, so good. Um, sorry. I guess I'm not really getting off the point, am I? Because the name of the whole show is straight to the point, completely off topic. So
Right.
probably fine. Um,
Uh,
so you haven't worked with anybody else though, on these creative projects. Do you kind of would you welcome that, or is it kind of like this is really a thing for me and I like that it's my time and my imagination?
Probably more the latter. Like I don't have a problem working with other people, but I'm also not taking any more fucking side projects on until I clear my plate of the ones I already took on.
The J Rowe asks, ask him if he's ever tattooed in a funeral home. If he hasn't, I can make it happen. Thanks.
Oh, I would absolutely be down for doing that. I've never done it. Yeah,
J
I
Rowe,
tattooed
you
in
need
titty
to,
bars, so like
uh-huh,
let me add a funeral home to it as well.
tattooed in a church yet?
I haven't.
Okay. Um, Stevie the Goblin asks, ask if he feels robbed of a victory. This is twice now that he made the final and got shafted. Is he bitter or is he satisfied with what he did?
Oh, I'm pretty fucking bitter. Yeah, I feel like I definitely should have done better in season 14. Like when I get kicked first out of the finale, I was like, man, I should have been up there for at least top two.
And I wish I'd see, I'm so disappointed that I didn't get all my binging done yesterday to see how you were eliminated. Because oftentimes, to be honest, those finales, they go shitty as fuck for at least two of the contestants, if not Matt Oba. I remember this is the last time I was ever invited to anything Ink Master. My friend Matt Oba is on stage at the finale, and they're like, okay, we're going to open this up to Twitter viewing, voting now. And at that moment, you realized just what a crock of fucking shit that Twitter voting was.
Uh-huh.
And now I need to take an aside from this too and say, and then at that moment, I also realized what a crock of shit the Twitter voting on my behalf then was.
Uh-huh.
And and was really dismayed. Like maybe they don't really love me. Maybe they were just, fools like some stormtroopers that are told these aren't the droids you're looking for.
Right.
But so Twitter goes on, they're going to vote for Matt Oba, or they're going to vote, and they cut to a commercial immediately. Like, so we're going to open up voting, and they never showed. Like we knew that voting was going on now, but they hadn't showed any of the tattoo yet that was to be voted on.
Yeah.
So Matt Oba gets kicked off by the time we come back to, Twitter, you've all voted. Matt goes home. Nobody's even seen his fucking tattoo.
I was wondering how that shit worked too, because I saw those seasons and that live voting thing just seemed weird. It's a bizarre mechanic. Like, how does it actually function
Right.
live?
And there's rules and regulations governing these kinds of things. I don't know if you're familiar with a movie called Barton Fink back in the day. I think
Yes.
John Goodman
John
was in one.
Turturro.
Yep, and Turturro. And so you're familiar. So at that point, they made rules so that things would have to have a or a lack of bias or a certain objectivity to them. And then that makes me think, how would, because this is a game show of sorts. There's a competition here. So how does that work into it where someone like Matt Oba is so unfairly taken out of voting when it's obviously or seems unfair?
Right. Yeah,
If they say this is a popularity contest and not a talent contest, then it's completely fair, right?
right. I mean, that's kind of what it is, though.
Yeah,
It's just as
yeah.
much a popularity contest about your personality as it is about your tattooing.
And that's where I really get dismayed because I benefited from it so much and realized at some point has nothing to do with your talent, Kyle. They just really like that blonde skunk streak they put in your hair.
Pretty much, man. Yep. But I think that's why I do as well as I do on the show is because I'm a big personality and
Uh,
I know how to turn it on for TV.
I think you do a great job of that. I can't take anything away from your talent though. You are amazingly talented tattoo artist. And that's one thing that I have to give hats off to these seasons that kept coming. One of the reasons that made it hard to watch was to see critiques go against tattoos that are so much better than I feel I could create myself or would create in those same circumstances. And
Yeah.
then to see the judges take their turns shitting on them in many times what you begin to look through is like this is contrived. He's quiet, you want him home, that guy's loud, he needs to stay. We already know where this is going. It's not about the art.
Right. I can neither confirm nor deny that is the case.
All right, Coriander Fox, asks, regarding the final of season 14, I'd like to know what he thinks of the judge's critique that his back piece should have been more dynamic. Does he feel that was a weird critique or a style bias slash preference? I personally loved that he did more of an illustrated piece.
Oh man, yeah, I got my critique on it was actually really favorable. Like they loved what I did, and it's cool. Like it's dynamic as fuck. And they say that I should have had one bigger, large focal point instead of
Mm-hmm.
doing what I do, which is trying to tell a story in a tattoo. So there's a lot going on in it. Um, but they liked it. I liked it. I think the big problem was I didn't fill up a full back. I only had 24 hours and 2 sittings. So I knew how much I could do. I wasn't trying to bite off more than I could chew.
Wait a
But I
second. 24 hours, 2 sittings?
two back-to-back 12-hour sittings is what we did for our finale back pieces.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I've never. It was fucking brutal, dude. Like
How
even
did the canvas? You
that's
got
the
to
thing.
find that's a special
Yeah,
person.
not even a special person. Like it's hard to even coax them into sitting that long. Like most people sit for three,
Mm-hmm.
4 hours, you're good. Sitting
Yeah.
3 times that, 12 fucking hours is hard for
And,
anyone. And we're
and
feeding
then
them
for you.
glucose tablets. Hard for
Okay.
us, it's hard for them. So you're not just managing your own self on what you can get done. You're having to manage your canvas to keep them sitting there comfortable so you can work for
What
12
about
hours.
heal time before the reveal? Was there any, or were these fresh
There
tattoos there?
there was none. It was two back-to-back 12-hour sittings, and then they're critiquing them raw, like fresh tats.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's a lot wrong with that, really, but
So I was like, I don't think, dude, it was like I would never do anything like that in the real world.
Mhm.
I don't think it's been done there. Like there's no way that any tattooer can do their best work in a situation like that.
Right. And on something that's so important on a tattoo as a back piece. And
Correct.
then to me, there's always something about these pieces are healed and now we're judging them. Whereas before, there's a lot of speculation. It's like, well, that's black and gray looks really dark. Well, 20% of that's going to lighten up. So let's not forget about that. And they're like, oh, will it? Is it going to lighten up? That's what they all say. You're like,
But it
fuck you.
does. Yeah, like
But it
tattoo
does.
know it's gonna, yeah, like, and that's what, like, if you're tattooing for longevity, you know how it's gonna look fresh and how it's gonna
Yeah.
heal, and that normal people don't know that. They don't take that consideration when they're looking at it. They're just like, oh, that tattoo's so dark. It's dark
Right.
now, but it's not going to be dark 2 years from now.
All right. I had an instance where during the critique originally, they tell me that the tattoo I did, it looks too dark in the mouth in different areas, like it's just too dark. And then this guy wants to come back on Redemption. And what's his, and I told him at that time, I'm like, well, of course it's black and gray, so it's going to lighten up 10, 20 to 30% from where it's at now. And they're like, oh, is it going to? And they made fun of me. Like they had heard it so many times. Yeah, it's going to lighten up. Like they literally do this.
But it
Then I
does.
find, exactly. Then I find myself on Redemption interviewing with Navarro, and he asks me, what I think might have went wrong with the tattoo I did. And I'm like, well, remember when I told you it was going to lighten up? And he's like, yeah, we're here because it lightened up too much. I'm like, yeah, yeah. You probably don't. I mean, I know these are all words that you're being fed by the production company. Anyways, you probably don't remember laughing at me about that very thing. But, obviously I remember it. It still sticks in my craw
Yeah,
today.
fucking have
Like,
nightmares about it.
yeah. The anyways, moving on. Let's ask you a question from Sharknado 3. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting that way wrong. Sharknado 3, not shark, but shark, as in a
Oh, as
fart that
in
goes
so I
horribly
fart.
wrong.
Perfect.
Yes. Anthony Michaels, I'm pretty sure he posts on here and has answered hella questions, meaning on Reddit. And if you guys ever want to ask any questions to me or anybody else, that's a good place to start. He answers hella questions on Reddit. Could be worth a search. All right, that's not a question at all. I have no idea why I read that. Moving on. Lazy underscore turtle 18 asks, will you be tattooing at any conventions? I already know the answer to that is yes. Can you give us some of them that you might be at though?
I got Philly coming up in a couple weeks into January. DC is in February. Baltimore is in, I don't know, what the hell's Baltimore? March, I think.
I
And
think
then
you're right.
Tattoo the Lou in St. Louis is in May. That's all I got lined up now.
Right on. I'll be seeing you at least 2 to 3 of those.
Oh, excellent.
Um, so if you guys are wanting to show up in any of those places, do and come by and say hi.
Yeah, come by.
Death.
Take selfie.
Oh, yes. Selfies keep us relevant. That's what this is. The only
Yeah.
reason I got a podcast.
Yeah, tag me in it.
Death O asks, "Are you interested? Oh, is interested on your take on the recent season, the judging change up, and where he sees the show going from here." And I guess he's talking about the judging change up of Ami James, Nico Hurtado, and
Ryan.
Ryan Ashley, as well as I'm guessing Joel Madden.
Correct. I loved them as judges. They were fucking awesome. Those old dudes, man, Oliver and Chris, they would kind of be up there to tell you how much your shit sucks and then move on to the next guy. Nico and Ami, they were giving you a lot of constructive criticism, telling you a lot of what you're doing right. And they say, hey, this is what you did wrong, but this is how you should do it next time, and actually helping you with your tattooing.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
you
that
could
was
tell that
something.
they took it very personal, which was really cool.
The old judges, I remember Nunez actually saying several times, we're not telling you how to do this. He would actually always say, he would just say, this is what you did wrong. We don't want to teach you or the viewing audience. It seemed like they had such a idea of the hierarchy of apprenticeships and stuff that they felt that any information that they disseminated to their viewing audience about tattooing's technical abilities or technical application, excuse me, was somehow kind of forbidden or shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean that's
And
that old school mentality. It's
yeah,
all word of
that
mouth.
destroyed our ability then to take criticisms from them at times. I remember that I had the most accurate portrait on accuracy day for portraits. Unfortunately, however, they told me in the critique it's the most accurate. Unfortunately, it's also the most unappealing. I'm like, so how does this work?
Yeah, right.
It's accuracy day. So do I win? No, Kyle, you're not. You're actually in the bottom. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's how
But
it is. So, but yeah, I like the new guys a lot, man, and I hope they stick around. It was cool getting those critiques from them because it felt like they cared.
Joel Madden, I'm not too familiar with him. He's not from Blink 182. He's not from Sum 41. He's from
Good Charlotte.
Good Charlotte. There you go. I knew it was some band I hadn't heard. But he is a huge fan of tattooing and the show, right?
Yeah, and he's a super nice guy too. Like I got along with him really well.
Compare him to the former then. Compare him to Dave Navarro's. Your
I mean,
experiences.
man, it's hard to compare anybody to Dave Navarro,
Well,
man. I love
let's
the
give
dude.
it just your experiences between the two. Which would you did you enjoy more? And which was maybe
I would
more engaging?
say I probably enjoy Dave more, man, because Dave was fucking funny, and that's what most people don't understand about Dave is that he's very quick witted and clever with how he talks. Joel, you can tell like he was new to this. He's still getting his legs. He wasn't there just yet.
I follow. And Joel also came up. It is Joel, right? Or is it Joe?
Joel,
Okay. He came up under a different, so like if you go back to Jane's Addiction days, that's like what 98, 2004, something like that, I'm guessing.
right?
And then Good Charlotte, were they even a band at 2004? So
I don't
I
know.
guess what I'm comparing here is the decadency of the Jane's Addiction days to as a contrast to the decadency of coming up in the more possibly sober Good Charlotte days. Like we're a punk rock band, but yeah, we don't do drugs. That's just not our thing. You're like, what the fuck? If you're not a straight edge band, then I don't know. Good Charlotte might be all high on shit. I know that Dave had his time with drugs. And during that time, there was a certain amount of decadence around Hollywood. So I'm wondering if there was a difference in their own upbringings in that would make Dave seem more experienced and more personable.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a
Okay.
good idea though. Shit. I mean, yeah, I guess Dave is more experienced, I guess, in life in general because he's been in that spotlight a lot longer.
All right. And he's been to AA, I think, a bit more, or NA. I don't know.
Right.
I do know that he has been because he's now sober. I don't know
Right.
about
Yes.
Joel. I guess is the only thing I asked. HOHVE2 comp. I have no idea. What is an HOH? House of Hills? House of Oh well, fuck it. 8 machines minimum. Opinion on both the judges' panels.
8 machines minimum.
Yeah, if you remember, there was a time when is on season 3 that Mystical Mike said
Chose a little one machine or something,
he only
right?
had one machine.
Yeah, I
Yes,
remember that. Yeah.
and then to answer, he's Oliver says, or little racist Ollie, as I like to call him, says, "I never leave the house without at least 8 machines minimum."
Oh yeah, Christ. I think I used two. I have two machines. That's good.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
Technical abilities change. I
Yeah.
think judging panel too. That's what I do like about the judging panel that I see it now is before Oliver and Nunez were always just fucking characters to me. I mean, not that they're not people that I didn't look up to, especially Ali, I looked up to for a long time. And honestly, I really respected Nunez after going on the show and prior to the show because of the one day that he fought for a contestant who had no tattoos, but his tattoo was better than the tattoo that Sarah had done that day. And he's like, no, that guy should stay here. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have tattoos. This is about the work he did. I always admired him for that.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
always admire Ali because of his long history in it. And I used to see him around at tattoo conventions. However, um, your opinion on or my opinion on those guys. I'm sorry to not ask you, I guess, but I do want to hear your thoughts on it. Being that both of those guys were older style, loyal to the coil type tattoo artists that can't see anything outside of their box and almost don't even want to for fear of it changing their perspective and then having to change their opinions to people like Nico, who was using one of the earlier users of rotary tattoo machines, and of a style that is not approved of by the traditional style tattoo artists who believe black lines, black shading, color, done, 1/3 open. In this, my when I saw them have new judges, despite how I might feel about any of them, not really knowing Joel, um, I thought that was a step in the right direction.
It's a step in a huge right direction. Yeah, especially I was really impressed with Ami James was saying how he uses the new pen type rotary machines because they're just easier to work with. They're better on your hands. They're better on the tattoos. So hearing an old head like that speak
Yeah,
high, the new shit was like, oh my god, finally it's getting
I
the
wouldn't have expected
third.
that. That is
Yeah.
really that's cool
Yep.
too. So, in your experience with Ami, I always get the idea that he's going to kind of be a hard assed, kind of a dick.
He's fucking funny, dude. Man, he said so much like off color shit that they couldn't show on television. He kept it fun every fucking day.
Right on. Good on him.
Yeah,
Um,
just talking how people used to talk before everybody was a little more cautious about what they say.
Scared of platform. Was it when they deplatform somebody or something?
Yeah, they cancel them.
Yes, cancel. Yes, as I understand, that's what I need to try to be is canceled because it seems like it. Anybody who's doing the canceling or working on the canceling, you guys really suck at that. Just heads up.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you're really, if you're trying to get Joe Rogan canceled, fuck, did you blow it? If you're trying to get Elon Musk canceled, come on, you guys, he bought the fucking platform you tried to cancel him on. Like you're doing bad, maybe rethink your approach. That's all
Right.
I'm saying. Uh, Glor Findak asks, do you have an opinion on Love, Death, and Robots? Isn't
Oh,
that
it's fun.
a comic?
No, it's a like a series of animated shorts on Netflix. They're fucking cool
Okay.
as shit. They're all great. Like that's like progressive, cool animation. They're pretty far out there concepts.
Is one of them, I think I might have seen one, is one of them uh animated story about a family of ducks who end up getting run over by Sully Sullenberg when he landed the airplane in the Hudson and saved all those people's lives?
Oh fuck, I don't know. Is it?
I don't know. I feel like I might have seen it now that you say they're animated. I'm like, oh my God, I think it was one of the most hilariously off-putting things. And it was just about a duck who's like, hey man, I really like migrating. It's like what I do. It's my whole fucking thing. My whole family's about it, my life, which ducks, I don't know if you know it, but they mate for life for the most part. Um,
Oh,
we built a family, we like to stop down at when we're coming from Canada, we stopped down at some of our favorite lakes. We were just leaving this lake, and this asshole fucking plane driver runs right into my family, kills all of us, and he's the hero of the
right. Yeah.
day. Terrible,
Yeah.
terrible, but also I don't know. I found it to be so. Hopefully that helps answer Glorfindek's Glorfindak question, at least on my end. But you love them. Have you don't know if you've watched them all, or there's something that you're
I think there's 3 seasons. I don't think I've seen them all though.
oh good Lord, is that much, huh?
Yeah.
So you're too busy.
Oh man, I'm always fucking busy, dude.
Good on you.
Yeah. Always doing something.
I have here my wife always asks me to end these episodes with ask Kyle any question. Is there anything that you have any curiosity about my answer to?
Oh man, do you get asked about the whole trying to fight Chris Nunez thing a lot?
Every fucking day.
Yeah.
Thank God, every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like Nunez said something during filming, and he like I want to have him. I have already reached out and thanked him in high, and he thanked me for thanking him. I had to put it in a better reference because for the longest time I was really bitter about it. But in hindsight, like this is so many years, it's almost 10 years, maybe more now, since I've been on the show. And even with my hair shaved off, people come up to me at the conventions and remember me more than they ever would the winner or other members of my cast. Everybody remembers me. And because of that altercation with Nunez. And while going back, Nunez said several times while we were filming, he kept saying during season 3, he kept saying, number 4 did better than 1, 2, and 3. And by that, he was saying, Tattoo Baby is far more famous than any of the winners in the finale. And so I know that he knew also that what he was doing, any bias he was showing against me, was actually helping me.
Right.
Not that it was easy to see then, and I still really disliked him for it. But
Right.
in
Right.
hindsight, you come back and you're like,
Huh.
that was a commercial. That
Nope.
that was the best thing that happened to me was him hating me, or
Right. Yeah.
seemingly.
You think
Yeah,
you'd ever go back and do it again?
I always say yes when asked. However, I know the challenge that it would be too, because the people that have come on since I was on there, I was early, season 3, season 4,
Right.
has continually gotten better. The level of artistry
Oh, it's
that
fucking crazy.
yourself,
Yeah.
DJ, Gian, Anthony are all fucking phenomenal. I think I could find my way around there, but again, I still don't have any hopes. I don't think that, and not that I ever thought that I could win. Even when I first went on, I was like, I just want to see where I'm at and see what next level this will show me to try and attain.
Right.
And I would feel the same way if I went on now. I talk with people like I just talked with Steve not too long ago. He just went on and he was like, same thing. He's like, these fucking kids, Kyle. These fucking kids are amazing, man.
It's fucking. I fucking love that team so much, man.
He's an interesting character. We go back
we,
and
we
forth, but
we
God bless. I love him, man.
we had like a joke on the show when he was just on there that he is the final form of me. That's I evolved into being Steve Tefts because we both have the same shitty sense of humor and we dress horribly and yeah, he's who I'm gonna excel to be.
Brother, I have had a blast talking with you. I want to thank you for keeping me relevant. This is the only way I know how to do it anymore.
Hey,
Um,
something, man. That's good thinking though.
Is there anything that we want to promote? I hope we got most of it out there, but let's get your Instagram and your webpage again if we can. And anything else you got going on?
Cool. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at creepy_Jason. Creepyjason.com is the website where you can buy all my shit. And then my board game is Dystopian Nights, Dystopian_Nights.
And by all of your shit, are you canning farts? What are you working on there?
I mean, I'll fucking get
You mean
parts.
merchandise?
Yeah.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, beard shavings and oh yeah, do like art and T-shirts and
Wait, beard shavings?
beard shavings. Sell some beard shavings in there.
Are you serious?
No, not serious.
Damn it.
Why would you want
I
some?
was like, dude, no, I just
terrible.
want you to corner the niche market. And I just want to be amazed that people are buying it. I was still amazed that people were buying farts with a flower petal in it. And I was really intrigued, but I'm not. Is it sad that I'm not ambitious enough to fart in a jar?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna start doing it now, though. Now that it's a joke, I'm gonna take it from being a joke into being merchandise.
Right on. Beard shavings and farts in jars can all be reached at creepyjason.com.
Awesome. That's it.
All right. Thanks for being on, brother. Look forward to seeing you in Philadelphia soon, man.
Cool. Rock and roll, dude. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Rock and roll.
All right. Later, dude.
Later.